King Galawdewos of Ethiopia was a ruler born from war, faith, and destiny. His story begins in the early 16th century, a time when Ethiopia stood at a crossroads between survival and destruction. The land of high mountains, stone churches, and proud Christian kingdoms was being torn apart by fire and invasion. Out of this chaos emerged a young prince, who would become one of Africa's most remarkable kings, a man who fought not only to save his empire, but to preserve his soul. Galawdewos was born in 1521, the son of Emperor Lebna, meaning the left-handed, was a brilliant commander armed with muskets and cannons supplied by the Ottomans. His ambition was nothing less than the conquest of Christian Ethiopia. Almagran's forces swept through the Ethiopian highlands with terrifying speed. Churches were burned to the ground. Entire monasteries that had stood for centuries were looted and destroyed. Scrolls written in Jez, the sacred language of the Ethiopian church, went up in flames. Thousands were killed, and the once mighty Solomonic Empire crumbled, retreating into the rugged mountains that had long protected the Ethiopian heartland. From these heights, he launched a campaign of resistance that blended guerrilla warfare, diplomacy, and divine conviction. At this time, a crucial ally appeared on the horizon, the Portuguese. Yet their alliance was tested almost immediately. Cristóvão da Gama fought bravely, but was eventually captured and executed by Almagran. The brutal killing of the Portuguese commander could have shattered the fragile coalition, but instead it ignited a flame of vengeance. Galawdewos rallied both Ethiopian and Portuguese survivors, uniting them under a single banner. In 1543, on the plains near Lake Tana, the two armies met at the Battle of Ouénadaga, one of the most important battles in African history. The fighting was fierce, echoing through the valleys as swords clashed and muskets roared. Chroniclers record that Galawdewos rode at the front lines, fearless, his white robe stained with dust and blood. When Almagran was struck down in battle, chaos erupted among his troops. The invaders fled. After 14 years of devastation, Ethiopia was free. The victory at Ouénadaga made Galawdewos a national hero. Yet his work had only begun. The empire he reclaimed was a ruin, its churches destroyed, its treasury empty, its people traumatized. Rather than rest on his triumph, the young king turned his focus to restoration. He personally ordered the rebuilding of monasteries and churches, many of which still stand today carved into the Ethiopian rock. He reorganized provincial administration, re-established the imperial court, and reinstated traditional festivals that had been suppressed during the years of occupation. For Galawdewos, reconstruction was not only political, but spiritual. He believed Ethiopia's survival depended on preserving the Orthodox faith that bound its people together. His alliance with Portugal, however, brought a new challenge. The Jesuit missionaries who followed the soldiers sought to convert Ethiopia to Roman Catholicism. They claimed that their faith was purer, their hierarchy superior, but Galawdewos, though grateful for Portuguese help, refused to compromise his nation's religious independence. In 1544, he composed a theological treatise known as the Confession of Faith, one of the most remarkable documents of his era. In it, he defended the Ethiopian Orthodox doctrine with eloquence and logic, explaining that his church's traditions were rooted in the earliest centuries of Christianity. "We are not new in faith," he wrote, "but ancient in truth." His words resonated far beyond Ethiopia's borders, asserting an African voice in the global Christian conversation. Galawdewos also demonstrated remarkable administrative talent. He re-established taxation systems disrupted by war, encouraged trade across the Red Sea, and reopened caravan routes linking the Ethiopian interior to the port of Massawa. Under his leadership, agriculture revived, artisans returned to their crafts, and the empire began to heal. His palace became a place of scholarship where scribes copied ancient manuscripts, and artists painted vivid murals of saints and battles. But the peace he fought for was fragile. The Adal Sultanate, though weakened, had not disappeared, and new Ottoman incursions loomed along the coast. In his correspondence with European powers, he expressed both gratitude and caution, thanking the Portuguese for their help, a warning against domination disguised as friendship. His words reveal a king who understood global politics centuries ahead of his time. Ethiopia must engage the world, but never surrender its autonomy. In 1559, his vigilance led him into one final campaign, determined to eliminate the remaining Adal strongholds and end decades of instability. Galawdewos marched east into the region of Fatagar. There he faced Nur ibn Mujahed, Almagran's nephew, who sought revenge for his uncle's death. In the ensuing battle, Galawdewos fought with his usual courage, but was fatally wounded. His death at 38 years old sent shockwaves through the empire. Monks and soldiers alike mourned the fall of the king who had saved Ethiopia. Yet even in death, Galawdewos achieved something eternal. His reign restored the Solomonic dynasty's prestige, preserved Ethiopia's faith, and maintained its sovereignty in an age when foreign empires carved up much of the world. He proved that African kingdoms were not isolated or backward, but deeply sophisticated, capable of diplomacy, theology, and organized resistance. His story reminds us that Africa's engagement with the wider world was never passive, it was dynamic, intelligent, and fiercely independent. Centuries later, Ethiopian chronicles would speak of Galawdewos as both saint and scholar. The churches he rebuilt became pilgrimage sites. Hymns celebrated him as the defender of faith, the restorer of light after years of darkness. King Galawdewos' life embodies a truth too often forgotten, that Africa's history is not defined by defeat, but by resilience. His leadership bridged worlds ancient and modern, local and global, spiritual and political. Through his pen and his sword, he secured a future for Ethiopia that endured for centuries. He was the warrior king who turned loss into victory, the theologian who defended his people's soul, and the ruler who proved that faith, when matched with intelligence and valor, can outlast any empire. Follow for more history they never taught us in school.